Said, yeah, what? And went down, picked up the cot and everything and flipped it up on him onto his head. Like literally flipped it up over on himself. I like so fast. Hey guys, welcome back to All City Motivation. Today we're going to talk about another subject about my first day of Vinita, following from the video that I released yesterday. The link to that will be up top. But yeah, so we're going to talk about my instance at Vinita. So my first day at Vinita, after getting off that 19.5-hour bus ride shackled to the floor of that bus and that meat wagon, it was very interesting. Got into my cell probably about 12:30 a.m. Slept till about 5 a.m. to when, you know, there's life happening. There's people moving around. There's the kitchen crew getting up and walking out to go to the kitchen to cook breakfast and stuff for the inmates. But about 6 a.m., you know, I wake up to stir, figuring out who my cellmate is. Get to talking to him, learning some of the things about the facility where we're at, the pod, the unit that we're in, how things went, where to go to get certain aspects, whether it be commissary or anything for that nature, to whatever I needed to do. So he was giving me the whole rundown on the inside of it. So like, all right, so I was going and getting my first cup of instant coffee. Keefy coffee is the best, by the way. If you don't know what Keefy is, it's the truth. If you really want to get up there on caffeine, Keefy will do it. Especially if you're an instant coffee fan, you don't really have a choice. So, I mean, kind of become an instant coffee fan. But anyway, so I'm going out into what they classify as the day room. In there's like cots, essentially like couches, almost, you know, like the fold away couches that you have when you was in college and stuff like that, if you know what I'm talking about. But there's one of those, and there was another particular inmate laying across one in front of the TV. And this inmate, I guess, has been there for a little bit. Really didn't cause no problems from what I figured out, gathering more information later on throughout my stay there. But there was a particular inmate who was a very, very big gay man and lived right next to that area that guy was laying on that cot in front of the day room TV watching the news. So since he was taking up the whole couch and all the other seats were filled, really, the dude politely asked him with respect, and respect will get you a long ways, hey man, can you please get up so I can sit down? And the dude just straight up blatantly ignored him, like, nah, I'm laying here. So by then you're already saying, nah, I ain't respecting that request to him. So dude kind of gets a little upset and he goes, hey man, you can't be laying across the seats like that around here. Other people are trying to sit down and watch the news too. So the dude was like, I'm not getting up out the seat. So the dude was like, you gonna get up out the seat or I'm gonna make you get up out the seat? And at that time, dude said, what? And he said, yeah, what? And went down, picked up the cot and everything and flipped it up on him onto his head. Like literally flipped it up over on himself. I like so fast, it was like lightning. Everybody was like, and this was my first day here? Like, you gotta see it where I'm seeing it from. I was like, man, this is just getting started, and I'm not even like on a crazy tenured journey at this point. This is my first day seeing what it's like, the scenery, the people, the vibe, what's going on. You can feel the tension through certain people when people cross paths, and I see on my first day somebody get flipped, literally. Dude ended up, you know, having to go get checked out by the medical staff. Other dude didn't really get in too much trouble. They wrote him up. Well, you got, I mean, they wrote him up. They gave him a write-up. Told him they might lose a level after it goes up to review. So, Oklahoma has a level system. I don't know about really in particular any other prisons across the country. For sure, but we have like a level 1, which is day for day. We have a level 2, which is like a 2 for 1, level 3, and then a level 4. So 3 for 1, 4 for 1. So that's why in the images displayed here, you see that I've sentenced to 10 years, but I only did 4.5 because I was level 4 for most of those times, because I didn't get in trouble. I kept my nose clean, knew what I was doing. You gotta think clearly when you're doing this, doing anything you're doing in there, because anything is subjective to not only the CO's impressions of you, but other inmates' impressions of you. At any given moment, you could do the wrong move that causes somebody else's move to get interrupted, and then that could bring heat to you, and that's heat that you don't want. Because the last thing you want to be is in any pass of any type of business that has to do in particular like bigger cliques or gangs or affiliations, whatever you want to name it. I personally wasn't patched out to anything like that. I chose to keep to myself and just be well respected amongst everybody in there, so I could do business with whoever I want, whenever I wanted, and there wasn't any repercussions on my side of it. And plus, I could handle my own. I mean, I wasn't worried about it. Made a lot of friends in there and all that at Vinita, but it was crazy. That very first day of figuring out that at any given moment over a seat, this wasn't even over like bad business or anything. This was over a seat. And I'm thinking in my mind, what in the world? This is right before orientation, before they try to pull you in to meet the chief of security and everything else to make sure that you ain't gonna cause no problems, this, that, and the other at his facility, and this, that, and the other. So, I mean, it was a crazy, wild first day, y'all. Like, y'all really gotta understand, like, when you have the mindset of like, I gotta do this time. You have no choice but to do this time. It's not even fair to like put into perspective with something else. Maybe going to court over something, you get that anxiety, that rush, the fear of loss of something, that might come into play, being like similar of a feeling. But like when you're trying to accept the fact you're gonna do big boy time, and the first time you see somebody get flipped up, you know what I mean? Like, that's all it took. Dude didn't want no more because he knew. Dude just literally picked him and that thing up like it was nothing. Literally, him and that couch got flipped up like it was nothing. Didn't exist. I know leverage and all that, if you want to get scientific in particular, but when he literally flipped him up and took him over on the other side of himself like that, it was absolutely wild. But yeah, so that was my first day at Vinita, and going through, and like the very first big instance. Then go through orientation, like I said, meet the chief of security. That was and then you go through, and then, you know, all the other inmates are seeing like, yo, bro, what you in for? So you get what they call paper checked. And the paper check is interesting. So you have a whole case file. They send you with papers. You can't go anywhere inside the system without having no papers, because then instantly everybody else is gonna be like, what's up? What's wrong with him? Why does he not have no papers? Why can't you show validation of what you're doing time for? Is something fucked up? You got a fucked up case? You know what I mean? Are you still in court for it? Are you in litigation over something? What's holding it? Because you ain't gonna do no time without no documentation. So, you know, paper check me, and then they can do. They want, if they feel like it, and the dude was called a heart check. Nope. Better put your shoes on. What you mean? Better put your shoes on. We're about to fight. About to see if you're gonna ball up and cry and wimp out, or if you're gonna stand up and hold your own. You're gonna hold your own. You better hold your own. We don't deal with stuff like that. You better hold your own. So, but yeah. So I mean, that was day one. Can't wait to tell y'all about day two. Day two is even crazier than day one, if you can believe it or not. So drop a like, hit the subscribe button, come back for the next one. Appreciate y'all. Just remember, keep your mind in the right place, keep your head up. Got bigger things in store. Y'all have a great one.